Tuesday on All Sides. I'm Ann Fisher. It's that time of year again when technology reporters from around the globe converge on Las Vegas to check out the next big ideas from tech companies. It's called the Consumer Electronics Show. Joining us now to tell us about some of the gadgets he's seeing is an old friend with a new title, Russell Holly, now contributing editor with Android Central. Welcome back, Russell.
Thanks.
And that's AndroidCentral.com for those for those listeners who want to follow you. Congratulations on your new job.
Thank you.
Tell us more about what the Consumer Electronics Show is first, for those who might not know, and how things are looking this year.
The Consumer Electronics Show for a long time now has been, just kind of the yearly thing at the start of new products. And it's everything from fitness trackers that you wear on your wrist to washers and dryers, television, really just the entire spectrum of new technology.
And does it attract the same numbers? Is it exciting as it used to be? Because you and I are always talking about unveilings of one tech gadget or another.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen over the past couple of years where larger companies like HTC and Microsoft and just a lot of different companies have started spinning off and more into their own events. But that doesn't make this event any less massive. I mean, it takes up a pretty significant chunk of the Las Vegas area. The convention center in two different places is really just completely consumed.
And you're there right now.
I am there.
So, any new trends jumping out at you? Any larger themes?
We're seeing more and more companies very interested in having a whole bunch of different kinds of technology talking to one another. You hear it less frequently referred to as the Internet of Things. And Samsung this year is doing a pretty decent job making it so that a lot of their technology over the next couple of years is going to talk to all of these things. So the smart light bulbs, thermostats, and things like that they're trying really hard to make these more common, but at the same time not restricted by kind of closed down and arbitrary boundaries. Samsung really wants to help make it as open as possible, and hopefully they stick to that.
So let's talk about, can you give us some examples of what they have out there today?
Just a ton of different things. My favorite of the things that I've seen so far, we had a conversation not long ago about how Apple and Google were doing their own kind of in-car system.
Yeah.
Where it was going to be, deciding between those two things and how it might end up being difficult to choose between one or the other if you are routinely switching between an iPhone and an Android phone. But we're seeing a couple of different in-depth stereo that are systems that people will be able to either install themselves or have installed professionally that are going to support both. So Apple's CarPlay and Android Auto. Manufacturers who have kind of laid out a roadmap for how they want these things to connect. And the closest thing we've had to support for smartphones has been the ability to pipe audio through, or in some cases grab your contacts so that you can play through the dash. And what we're seeing here, both Apple and Google, is just an entire user interface for things like accessing whatever map service you prefer on your phone, or whatever entertainment system you prefer for listening to music, or if you've got a multi-screen setup, probably at some point in the future watching video. So it's interesting to see that we have a couple of manufacturers who, recognize that the need for both is going to be an important thing, and I hope that is a continuing trend.
When I was reading about this, it kind of cracked me up because you're too young to remember the days when everybody wanted to get a cassette deck in their car, and they started to build them so you could install your own or have them installed by somebody in an existing car. That's sort of like what they're talking about with this system by Parrot, right?
This is definitely what we're seeing here, where it's going to be these installable in-dash systems that are going to, replace whatever you currently have there controlling your radio, and it's going to have a great big screen from, all the manufacturers that have shown this off so far. Basically have the same basic setup where you've got a couple of very small buttons for moving around things, but everything else is controlled by this great big screen, and it includes ports in the back where a wire will be run through the car. So the idea is when you get in the car, regardless if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, you'll plug right in, and as soon as you plug in, the screen on your car will wake up and recognize that it has one of these two operating systems connected to it and will respond in time.
How are the car companies responding?
Well, it's a mix. We've had some automotive manufacturers who have leaned towards supporting CarPlay, whereas we've had others who have leaned towards supporting Android Auto. And Hyundai, I think, is the only automotive manufacturer that I've heard of who has openly decided to support both, so that their factory models, when they roll off, will support both. So it's definitely, a middle-of-the-road thing right now.
And were you surprised? It's known for designing drones and robot toys. Was this a surprise coming from them?
Well, interestingly enough, Parrot has had these, Android-based car stereo systems as almost like side projects for a really long time now. They've never been particularly pretty to look at. They've kind of had some trouble getting them to sell particularly well. And one of the biggest things that got said before Android Auto was released, was if the guys at Parrot could figure out how to make it so I actually plug in my phone and all of this stuff showed up, then it would be worth it. And now that's exactly what we have.
And also, the car, this device, or the car would have a dash camera with it that can film the road as you drive. Now, we're hearing about those all the time, and that's something else I wanted to talk to you about just in general. Is this going to be standard, sort of a standard equipment as we go forward, do you think?
No. So what we're seeing from Parrot is that this particular box is going to be capable of just a ton of different options. But the basic set of features is going to be the phone connection. But because Parrot controls that underlying operating system, they've built in a lot of other features for interacting with the car as far as gaining vehicle performance information, and if you have front and rear camera